Hi, I'm Katie from What Katie Did, and I'm currently answering a series of your questions about our lingerie and hosiery ranges, and today I'm answering the question as to why don't we make a curved fully fashioned stocking. And the truth of the matter is there's only a few factories left in the world still making fully fashioned stockings, and at What Katie Did we don't really have very much control over what we make and what we sell. In fact, for example, while we can do our champagne with a red seam, that's simply a champagne stocking and a red seam is added to our specifications. Making a stocking wider basically means stopping production, resetting the machines, having a lot of research and development time, and the machines are already running flat out trying to keep up with demand as it is. And this isn't just the factory that we use, but all the fully fashioned factories in production at the moment, of which there are like 3 using redding machines and 1 using another type of knitting machine. Everyone's running flat out trying to keep up with demand as it is. So there's really no incentive to develop a larger style or a curved style as it is. Unfortunately, this means that we're kind of stuck with the fully fashioned stockings we have at the moment, and I can remember I was talking to a factory we were working with previously to the one we're working with at the moment, and I did ask them about whether we could make heavier denier or larger thigh size, and he said it was just impossible for them to envisage that at the moment. The machines are set to do a certain style, and really that's it. And it goes to the extent that they were making stockings for a very famous burlesque artist at the time who has her own range of fully fashioned stockings, and she was finding the extra small were too large for her, and so she said, can you make an extra small for me? And they did, but they didn't amend the width of the welt, so the welt basically almost went down to her knees. So it's not just a case of amending the pattern slightly, it is the whole thing has to be rejigged and amended, and that's the factories that are making fully fashioned stockings at the moment, they really don't have the time or the need to do that, and because we don't own the production facility ourselves, then we're powerless in doing different sizes too. We're left with what the other factories are making. So that explains why there's no curved fully fashioned stockings coming to the market anytime soon or ever. But when we do have more control over something, then we do introduce the sizes we can. For example, we have introduced curved seam stockings, and yes, that took several years to persuade the factory to actually make them for us, and now we're happy and they're doing really, really well. But when it comes to fully fashioned, we have a lot less control over what's made. So I'm afraid we're stuck with standard sizing for those at the moment. If you do have any questions about fully fashioned stockings or seam stockings, please let me know and I'll get back to you soon. So in the meantime, take care.